You asked me to be on here today to talk Patriots Chargers. I don't know why. 6-0. What an
I think it was
ugly
the other way. I
game.
think you asked me to jump on here, but
I probably you're the one that suffered and you watch actually all 60 minutes. I kind of was waiting for them to come on red zone and they never really did because it was no touchdowns in the game. But we're also talking other games too, so that's why we're here. But I'm sure Chargers fans who enjoy Compas on the beat want to talk about this game. I think. I don't know. What do you think?
so you and probably a lot of like people outside of like Charger fans are probably going to be mad at me. I was actually really impressed with the game just for one aspect, two
Okay.
aspects.
Okay.
One, Gilbert, you were around the team. How bad were special
I
teams
knew it.
when
Yeah.
you were around the team?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
They were really bad. Gilbert, 12 kickers in between 2017 until Ryan Ficken came in and they got Cameron Dicker. And I think he's only missed 2 or 3 kicks since then. He has a 95% kick efficiency. So honestly, I was really impressed with special teams all around. Why? Regardless of what happens after the season, Ryan Ficken needs to stay as the special teams coordinator. I'm being completely honest. Like the dude come like J.K. Scott was the guy that they brought in. A lot of people were like, J.K. Scott, who is he? I remember when you saw the battle at punter. And the guy's impressive. I mean, 8 punts, 7 of them within the 20-yard line. I thought he did a great job. Then you look at the other side of Dicker. Then Darius Davis is one of the best punt returners in the NFL. He set them up for that second field goal. And I know special teams boring. Hey, these guys lost a lot of games in between 2017 and 2022. They lost numerous games because of special teams returned kicks. There goes a Thier. God almighty. He does not wait. Kick returns, missed field goals, terrible punts. They have really figured it out, and that's one of the things that gives Brandon Staley credit on. He really wanted the special teams to be turned around. He's done it. That was one aspect. The other aspect was I actually thought Justin Herbert had a really good game. I know didn't put up touchdowns. I get it, but there was numerous drops. Like it's getting really bad right now. The amount of drops that are happening on this team, and it really, you start looking around, you're like, what is really going on here? So those were my kind of two takeaways. But the special teams, man, and I know it's obviously boring to hear. What the hell? Oh, it's boring to hear about special teams and everything, but when you see a team that had so much trouble with it for years, like the Chargers did, it's impressive to see where they're at now. I think they have one of the best special teams unit in the NFL, and they really came through on Sunday. I know boring 6-0, but hey, if you've seen where these guys have been and where it's at now, you're like, okay, I've seen the growth now in that aspect.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and like I mentioned, I didn't watch too much of this game because it was a stinker, 6-0. But I wanted to make sure I was ready for today, and I was reading and watching some highlights and obviously checking the stats. And I was like, all right, they won the game, so I need something positive here. And I started thinking, man, this special team is actually pretty good. They're not making the mistakes. I covered this team closely. There was a lot of clear mistakes, like you mentioned, and yeah, they got to find a way to keep Ryan Ficken. You better Ficken keep him on the team. How about that? But yeah, he's done such a great job with the unit. But then I started looking deeper and like the drops. You mentioned the Quentin Johnston drop and Athir, what's up? I don't know why he calls you Papa, and I think he calls Victor something else, but I don't get a name. Not saying that I want a name, but it's kind
Oh,
of
and,
like,
and guess what he just put too?
see, so I'm just plain old Gilbert. So a Thier, I don't know. Maybe it's more of a sign of respect from me. I don't know.
I wonder if he has anything for Dan and Dago. That'd be interesting to
Yeah, I don't
hear.
know. Does he ever jump on What's Up Boats and give
He
Dan?
commented on the video where I said I didn't think the Chargers would win another game. And if you're get out of here, if Dean Leonard would have been called for that PI on Devontae Parker, that game might have ended completely different. So I
Hey,
mean, I wasn't completely wrong. I mean, get out of here.
real
But
quick, Fernando.
I
I
was wrong.
actually I listened to your advice, and on the MMQB staff picks, I was the only one that chose the Patriots, and I'm like, I better get to this. It's so much better when you get a win as a lone wolf, and like you get the everybody went the other way. I'm like, Fernando, you better come through for me here. Six to 0.
6-0. I mean, come on. I wasn't wrong. I mean, I was close.
Hey, but Bailey Zappi and the Patriots offense was just terrible. But credit to the defense too. And I know people are slowly writing off the Chargers. We should all forget about them. But Khalil Mack had a great game, and
That
it's one of those
dude,
games where you're searching for positivities. I get it, and special teams and Khalil Mack has been that
Khalil Mack is just insane. 32 years old. He leads the league in sacks.
career high
Um
too this season, right?
no, no,
Or
no. Well, he's tied it.
tighter. Okay.
So again, and I was telling Dan and Diego, I'm like, I think against the Broncos, he might get another two. The way he's going, he might get another two and be at 17. But and he plays the Raiders next Thursday, so maybe he gets another 6 in that game. But obviously, the Raiders are playing a lot better football than they were with Josh McDaniels. But I agree with you. Special teams, Khalil Mack. But like I said, I thought Justin Herbert had a good game. That throw at the end to Alex Erickson, I was like, damn. Gilbert, you're his young lion, is what he's saying.
I don't know why.
Holy
Maybe
crap.
I don't have long hair, but I guess so. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, if you COVID, Gilbert did have very long hair, and like I remember, Pep Hamilton really didn't have that much interaction with us, but the one thing he noticed was Gilbert's mustache. He was like, "Is that natural? Like, is that legit?"
Growing out again, I feel like. But
I
yeah.
know, but I just thought it was Johnny. We will get to that coming up next, so make sure you tune in for that. We're gonna get there soon. We're not gonna spend very long on this, but I mean, in my opinion, nothing has changed really, Gilbert. Even though they got the victory, I mean, still there's still mistakes. They're like Bailey Zappi had some good throws. He had some good. Marcus Thornton also, Gilbert. He had a drop where if he catches it, it was a deep one. If he catches it, he would have walked right into the end zone. So there was a lot of mistakes on that side of the football. It's one of those things where the mistakes are still being made. The secondary is still a mess. And the pass rush is kind of helping them and saving them at one point, but they're making all those mistakes. And then on offense, all the drop balls. I mean, everybody wants to look at solely at the quarterback, but the quarterback is literally laying it right in there for them. So that's there's still a lot of mistakes being made. I don't see yesterday as like oh, hey, let's pat ourselves on the back. Like, I think if anything, it should cause a little bit more concern, because if some of those passes are caught, it could have been a completely different game. But hey, they're 5-7. I guess they're still in the hunt, but it just I just, yeah, it's not. I just don't see them making it, especially with the way the Broncos have. I mean, I know the Broncos lost Russell Wilson on Sunday, but there are some other. The Colts have now emerged as a pretty good team with their backup quarterback. The Texans are still really good. I know they lost Tank Dell, but they obviously have some other playmakers. They have some. There's some really good. There's some good teams on that in the AFC. So I just think it's going to be way too hard for them to make a push.
Nobody should be thinking about a playoff push when you still got the Bills, the Broncos, the Colts, the Steelers,
Broncos
the
twice.
Browns,
And the Chiefs. That's it. Nobody should be thinking, oh, the Chiefs are going to rest their starters for that final. Hell no. I think towards the end of the season, they're still going to be fighting.
They need the number one seed, and
yeah,
the Chiefs are actually. We'll get to the Chiefs in a bit, but I won't go there. But for me to focus on the Chargers, go ahead and read the comments you want.
Anything that's not in Herbert's direct control in the offense is trash for the Chargers. Run game drops, perfect. Route running, injuries, offensive line. Matushka, you're
that was
Matushka. Yeah, I got it right.
Yeah, okay. I'll let you try that. But that was gonna be my point, actually. Like I was trying to look for something here to focus on the negative side, because you know me, I like to focus on the negativity. And when I'm seeing 29 yards on the ground game, like that's not gonna, like, yes, Herbert's doing what he can with the passing game. People are dropping the ball. Now imagine with a poor rushing attack all year and having no help. And I think I shared this to your brother the other day, because I've been trolling a lot about Justin Herbert. Obviously he's a good quarterback, but I like to mess with your brother. And I showed him the ranking that the Athletic had for quarterback rankings, which I thought was interesting. Was like, which quarterback is good, but do with the worst supporting cast. I guess the ranking is pretty much it. It was Jalen Hurts number one, which is kind of hard to believe with the poor supporting
number
cast.
One?
Yeah. I think Maker's a bad defense all year kind of thing.
Oh,
But Herbert is number two, and then when you hear Jalen Hurts, you think Herbert should be number one with bad offensive line, bad rushing attack, drops all over, and a bad defense. The defense got a little better the last 2 weeks, but it just shows you how
look at who
poor it
they
is.
played the last 2 weeks.
That too,
Oh,
I
well,
get.
well, yeah, no, I even Lamar Jackson. I mean, they
No, but
Odell got hurt, and
you have a good point though. Like I guess the Patriots. By the way, I just saw the Patriots are the first team since like 1938 to lose 3 consecutive games with the defense
allowing 10 points
stopping
or
10
less.
points or less. That tells
Yeah,
you how bad the offense is. But the point is like and one thing I want to clarify. I know last week people got on me for the comment of saying the Chargers are talented. And if you would have kept watching, I meant more like they're talented, top heavy. They have the core that you want there. You got Justin Herbert. We'll see about Keenan Allen. But yeah, certainly this roster is not that strong. They've gotten older. The young guys aren't stepping up besides Thule, and the Quentin Johnston thing is going to be something where you have to monitor. I'm not going to write them off just yet. I
no,
know
heck no.
I know the catches were a big issue, and that's why he fell. But if the catches weren't an issue in college, I'm sure he would have been like a top 12 pick because he has all the potential and the skill set. I'm not ready to go there. Obviously, you got to build his confidence, and you got to make sure he catches the ball. It's a big thing to do, right? But I'm not gonna write him off just yet. But yes, the talent is dwindling each week. They're not as good as everybody thought they're gonna be. So it's a big project for the Chargers. But Herbert is doing his part. Let's at least agree on that.
In the last 3 games, there's been 10 drops by tight ends, running backs, receivers. It's like like 10 drops, like that's a lot. And I think in the last 4 or 5 weeks, it's been like 14. Like that's ridiculous. But I mean, obviously, like we said, it's not just the run game, the offensive line, the defense hasn't been there. It's just it's been it's been a mess. But Athir, who are they gonna beat? Like, you're giving them three more wins is what you're giving them. Who against who? He's gonna say the Bills, he'll say the Raiders, and he'll say one time against the Broncos.
The Broncos, yeah, probably twice.
Yeah, but I just that Thursday night game against the Raiders, I think it's gonna be it's gonna be so loud in there. It's gonna be really crazy. And then with guys making or dropping balls, the only way I said I think they could push to maybe make the playoffs, and this is a huge maybe, is if Josh Palmer came back. He's eligible to come back at any time, but it doesn't as of right now, it doesn't look. Broncos twice and the Raiders.
I knew it.
Athir, stop.
Even if they win now, they might even lose a couple tiebreakers and not get in. Like, it's difficult right now because all these teams are in front of them at 7-4 or 7-5.
His agent added it in his contract that he gets a certain amount of carries. His drop in performance has been impressive. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And I don't know what's going. I think it's a mixture of everything with Eckler. I mean, I think it's a mixture of everything, but it hasn't been what you would expected in years. Like what you've seen. I mean, 20 touchdowns the first year, 18 last year, and this year, I mean, just everything's kind of dropped off. But it's been everything. I mean, they've had Corey Lindsey the last 2 years. This year they don't have him. It's just been, and I mean, I know he's had a lot of drops, and I think that's another thing that people are kind of like, whoa, oh, and they've had 3 fumbles the last 3 weeks also. So it hasn't been pretty, Gilbert, but it's gonna be rough. I mean, this weekend they play Sean Payton. That's not something to sneeze at. Like, that dude is like, he's gonna have them ready, especially that defense. I mean, everybody saw what the Patriots did yesterday. They tried to take away Keenan Allen, and they said everybody else beat us. And yeah, they beat them 6-0, but you're facing Patrick Surtain next week. That's going to be a little bit tough. And then Justin Simmons, that's going to be a little bit of a tougher task than what you saw this week. But yeah, Gilbert, again, I was impressed with the special teams, Khalil Mack and Herbert, but everything else, you're kind of like, ooh, like there's still the same stuff that's been going on for the whole season. It's still showing up week in and week out. So I don't know. And then Thule's obviously and besides, Stevenson getting hurt really changed that game, because the way Stevenson was running the football, he was doing a really good job with it. So that
when he,
kind of hurt them. I was surprised that Malik Cunningham didn't get any action at receiver or any just like a gadget play. I don't
yeah.
know, like
I don't
something.
even know if it matters. The only thing that was doing
I
well
would
was
have loved it.
Ramondre Stevenson. When he went down, I'm like, well, there goes my pick of choosing the Patriots there. But hey, but then to be 6-0 after that and just hanging around, it just tells you how bad the Chargers have been. And maybe they win now. Who the hell
No,
knows? But it's not gonna be enough,
I know.
regardless. It's not gonna be enough. I don't
What?
think so.
Oh yeah, I agree with you.